Welcome to red flag number 2, inability to move on. This is a big one. I faced this challenge personally. This happened early in my divorce and extended into a couple of months. It was really tough. Many of my friends faced this as well. It's very common. Matter of fact, I think it's one of the most common one of all. It's more than missing your ex. Your ex has been in your DNA for years, 15, 20, 30 years, whatever. How long you've been married, that's what you have to combat. Past relationships dominate our thoughts, emotions, and actions. We were living with them. We lived our life. It was two, not one. So this is a big change for us. It prevents you from fully engaging in present or planning the future. You almost get stuck in a rut that you can't move on because you don't know what to do. So you have to work through that too. Our identities around our roles as husbands and fathers are centered about our inability to move on. I had a hard time making decisions, unilateral decisions by myself, but over time, you do gain a foothold of that and you do move on. And it feels like it's the end of who we are. Our identity is gone. There's no more us. It's just me. And the transfer of power from us to me is devastating sometimes. And we feel incomplete. Constant thoughts about your ex. This is the big one, guys. You wake up, what? You think about her when you wake up. You think about her when you go to bed every day, the middle of the day. Too all-consuming. It's a problem. You need to think about yourself and pick yourself up by your bootstrings and move along with your life. I know it's hard to do, but it's easy to say. But I'm trying to tell you, millions of men have done this, and you're not alone. Difficulty imagining a future without them. You guys have been joined at the hip for years and years, 15, 20, 25 years, 30 years, and it's hard to get them out of your DNA. It's so hard to do that, but I'm telling you guys, there's ways to do it. Finding it hard to make plans or set goals that don't involve your ex. Still living in the past, unable to envision a new future for yourself. I'll tell you guys a story. We were in the middle of our divorce, and the 3 kids were in high school, 2 high school, 1 junior high, and Thanksgiving was coming up. So my dumbass, I actually invited her to Thanksgiving dinner at the house because I had the kids that week because we did 50-50 change on Sundays, week on, week off. I had the kids, so I had her over, and from the beginning, it just sucked. She didn't help me clean up, this, that, and the other. It was a stupid, idiotic mistake, but I wouldn't have learned from it unless I did it. So I'm glad I did, just to learn the hard way that I never do that again, ever. Stalking on social media. This is a big one, guys. I did a Divorce Devil podcast with Rachel. I think it's 191. And then I did a Don't Pick the Scab podcast with Jonathan Steele Fortress. And it was about social media and how there's nothing positive about it when you're stalking on social media. Things can get out of hand. Social media is privy sometimes to the divorce decree or divorce decisions. That's pretty much self-explanatory. Don't go down that rabbit hole because you're constantly checking your ex's social media profiles, and all it does is just gives you more angst, and you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. I stayed away from that. But that was one of the things I did do. I took her off as a friend. The ones that were her friends, I took them off as friends, and I sat in my own pocket. This digital connection can keep you emotionally tethered to the past. If you keep looking back, just looking at old pictures, and it prevents you from moving forward because you need to move forward. That's the key about this red flag. Holding on physical reminders. Once again, pictures. I saved all our pictures, wedding pictures, kid pictures, vacation pictures. I put them in a box, and I'm saving them for the kids when they get older, even though they're old. But I've still got. I haven't saved all our Christmas decorations and ornaments over the past years that showed us as a family, because I wanted to keep those and give them to my kids. They mean nothing to me, but giving them to my kids means all the world to me. So if you're unable to part with reminders of your marriage, photo, gifts, or even furniture, let that shit go. Cling on to the past will not let you move on with your life. Trust me, I know. Comparing every new person to your ex, either lover, friends, whatever. No one's going to be like your ex, hopefully. And if your divorce was contentious, you don't want them to be like everybody here, like your ex. You want to move on with your life. It's so important to move on with your life. I can't stress that more. And once again, I know it's hard, but it's not impossible. Millions of guys have done it. Either romantic partners or just new friends, you compare them to your ex. Who the heck cares? Measuring everyone against your ex, no one's like her. And thank God for that. And then you become actually stuck that you can't move on from there because you're comparing everybody to her. What would they say? How come she doesn't look like her? Who cares? Refusing to date or form new connections. This is a little bit of the previous one. You're like standing in your connections with new friends. You can get new friends. Some of my best friends are women who I've met after I've been divorced. And women and men could be friends. You don't have to screw every woman that you meet. You can just be friends. It's possible. It's okay to take time to heal. You don't have to date right away. Dating, I dated too soon and went through a whole phase. Anyway, that's a different story. But you don't have to go through a whole phase. You don't have to date right away. You can take time to heal and date if and when you're ready. Some people never date, and that's okay. But continue to refuse opening yourself up to new relationships, even friendships, is wrong. It's a sign that you're not the mindset to move on. Talking about the divorce constantly. I did this crap. One of my first dates with a woman, the whole conversation was, I think she opened it up. She goes, "Why? So why are you divorced?" And that was like a half-hour conversation that I just took control of. And I learned you don't lead with your divorce. It doesn't define you. Every conversation circles back to your ex and or the divorce. That's wrong. I was stuck in this rabbit hole and it started to define who I was as a person. I wasn't David. I was divorced David, which is so wrong. Neglecting self-care or personal growth. Man, you got to wash your stank ass. You got to take care of yourself. I'm a firm believer in personal hygiene and grooming. I'm a dentist. You got to brush your teeth. You got to floss. You got to take care of yourself because you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of the people you love. You can't take care of your kids. You can't take care of your elderly mom. You can't take care of business. You can't take care of it. Affects your work. You can't go to work with a positive attitude if you don't take care of yourself and if you stink. Yeah. And even personal growth. Mentally, you got to do the work, get support groups, whatever it takes for you to take that personal growth leap, both inside and outside. Don't stop pursuing your hobbies, exercising, or taking care of yourself. Self-care is not overrated. Rachel and I talk about self-care on the Divorce Devil podcast all the time. Self-care is very important. Why does this happen? Man, you could ask this until the cows come home, but it's a natural occurrence. It's part of the fear of the unknown. I'm going to be divorced. What's going to happen to me? I don't have identity anymore. The identity crisis is huge. I go from 2 to 1. Who am I? Another part of this is really big is unresolved emotions, which is red flag number one. If you go back and look at that YouTube video, you got to lean to your emotions. You got to figure out that you are mad, you are hurt, you are grieving. You have to accept those emotions and then start to heal from there. But if you don't accept them, there's no way you're going to be able to heal completely. Another thing too, guys, don't go back to the till. I made that mistake once and went back, and I'm talking sexually. Don't do it. Doesn't turn out well. Even though comfort and familiarity, don't do it. Especially if it was contentious. It's not worth it. How do we move forward? Realizing that we actually need to. That's a big one. Lean into support groups, friend, and family. That's very important. I did a divorce recovery seminar, church-based, downtown Colorado Springs, and it really helped me with my anger and my healing, and I became a facilitator, that and the other, to help people, and that's how I got to this place. But you got to remember, everyone is not your friend. Everybody in your support group is not your cheerleader. And your job later, you don't figure it out right away, but as you go along with this, you'll figure out everybody who's not your cheerleader, and you need to cut that crap. Cut them. Trust me, I know the hard way. What are some of the signs you might be lacking a good support system? Let's just go into the support system. You feel isolated. There's nobody to talk to, no one to call, there's no one to bounce stuff off of. You go to work, you come home, and there's nothing. Having no one to call. Once again, a screwed up slide. No one, having no on to call with the E. Like I said, you can't call anybody. You can't call anybody in the middle of the night. There's nobody on your call list. You can't take care of what you need to do. Struggling with daily tasks. I had that problem at first. I was crying in the walk-in closet every morning, and I struggled to get moving in the morning. And I knew I had to move because of my kids. I had to take care of my kids. So I had to take care of myself. I had to get my ass up, take a shower, wash my ass, and get it going. Bottling up emotions, not realizing that you're going to accept those emotions. You got to accept those emotions, guys. You're going to be mad. You're going to be glad. You're going to be sad. You're going to be grieving. That's all normal. The years of daddy don't cry anymore, men don't cry, that's bullshit. Let that go. Men go to counseling. Men do a lot of things that they didn't used to do. Using unhealthy coping mechanisms. Okay, here we go, guys. Alcohol, pot, whatever your unhealthy coping mechanism is, that's fine. But if you do pot or gummies, whatever, but just don't overdo it. Don't overdo the drinking. Don't overdo the dating, the whole phase. Keep the coping mechanisms healthy. Work out, limited alcohol, go out, go party, go dance, go work. Just do what you can in order to get that healthy coping mechanism. Feeling stuck, almost like we can't continue to move on. We have to really push to move on, but you have to have some light. If you say to yourself, okay, so tomorrow's going to be a better day, maybe I won't cry, but 3 minutes. Set small goals. That stuck feelings can go away if you set small goals each day. Why is having a support system so crucial during and after divorce? You got to have a support system, guys. Friends, family, online. You got to find something, because sometimes you need to bounce stuff off people, and no one better to bounce stuff off of than someone who's been through a divorce. There's so many online counselors. I have interviewed so many on Don't Pick This Guy podcast. There's so many venues out there. There's a lot of local stuff around. If you do a Google search, you can figure out where you need to go. I'm a very supportive person of a support system. There's a double whammy. Emotional processing. You got to process this, and people process this different ways. So you have to really lean into the anger, or lean into the pain, lean into the grief. And what that can do is that can propel you to say, hey, I'm not going to be mad all day. Let me go ahead and knock this shit out. And if you find yourself that you're not processing the emotions that well, get a counselor, get a therapist, keep it moving, because you can go get help. Don't be afraid to get help. Men do ask for help. Different perspectives. Different support systems provide different perspectives. Group therapy for me provided a perspective from the standpoint of having a commonality, being in a big group, everybody having the same problems, or having different specific problems, but the same general problem. Shine a light for me to move on with my life, that everybody was in a different spot in their divorce. So I saw people that were done with it. Some people just starting. I was in the middle of mine. So it gave me hope. That perspective thing can give you hope. Accountability. If you hang out with someone who's divorced and you're talking some shit that they don't want to hear, they'll let you know. Say, hey, that's not going to work. You need to step up to the plate. We will have excuses till we die. And when you have accountability, those excuses go to the wayside. But if you find somebody who's willing to give you accountability, that's awesome. But they need to give you that accountability in a soft, safe space. Definitely a safe space. Sense of belonging. Belonging to a group is awesome. The commonality part is really cool. When I did my divorce recovery and we had about 40, 50 people in the big group, I look forward to it every Wednesday, just going down and talking to people about divorce and finding other people that were going through the same thing as me. That was pretty cool. Reach out to old friends. This is a good time where you can probably take something a little different. There were some friends who I reached out to who I haven't talked to in a while, and they were friends where we could just pick up the conversation where we left off and just keep it stepping. And that was cool. These are true friends that I didn't keep in touch with. And now we keep in touch a lot better than we did before. And it really helps. Join a support group. Once again, I'm a big support group guy. My support group was awesome. Some of those friends of mine in my support group are still friends of mine to this day. And then I told you that I became a facilitator, and some of the people I facilitated became facilitators too. So I helped. It's almost like helping the next generation, but support groups are really good. Pursue your interests. Get on your hobbies, guys. Do your thing. You want to ride a big motorcycle? Go rent one. You don't have to spend a whole lot of money. I did stuff. One of my interests was I loved Italian food, and my ex did not like me to eat Italian food because I kind of stunk. I guess it came through my pores, but I couldn't wait to go out and eat Italian food. Something so simple. And my current wife loves me when I eat Italian food because she knows that makes me happy. Seek professional help. Once again, guys, don't be punks. Go out and get professional help if you need it. I'm a firm believer that if you need help, get it. And there's so many professionals out there. There's no excuse for you not finding somebody online through somebody else, through me, ask me, but you can get help anywhere. Be open with the family. This is a delicate subject, I think, sometimes because not all family members are either on board or positive. So you really got to sit back and see which ones you can be open with. It's almost like you tell them you're divorced and you wait for their reaction. And then if it's positive, then you go from there. But you don't give them more information than they need other than you getting divorced because you have to feel them out a little bit. So this one, this is a give and go here because I had some family members that were no freaking help at all. Matter of fact, this 13 years ago and there's still no help. That's okay. Volunteer. Volunteer at the church. Volunteer. Keep yourself busy. Volunteer at a positive place. I volunteered, like I said, I volunteered at my divorce recovery place and got training, and that was fun. It was fun helping other people. It wasn't fun seeing their pain, but it was nice seeing them transform to a more positive place over time. Use technology. Oh my God. You're using technology now. There you go. Enough said. There's so many things on the internet. Not everything is positive, but you can pick and choose what's going there. It's not rocket science, but you can use technology to your advantage. Be patient and persistent. If you're impatient with it, it's not going to work. It's going to take you longer to heal. You're not going to heal overnight. Things aren't going to be better in 2 days, 3 days. It takes time. And you have to do the work in order to heal. You really have to get after it. And you can do a little bit each day. You don't have to do hard, hard, hard. Okay, I'm going to heal today. I'm going to do this, that, and the other. Hey, sit back. Take a weekend off from trying to heal. But do it at your own speed, but just be persistent. Do something every couple of days or every day, but just stick to the plan. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness. Once again, guys, if you need help, ask for it. Ask me, ask family members, your preacher, your counselor. Just ask for help. People love to help. Face challenges before. This isn't your first challenge. It might be the biggest, but if you break it down to breadcrumbs, it's not so big. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And this is the biggest elephant that you've probably faced. So get your bites in, get your fork, get your knife, and just make those pieces really small and get after it. You are not alone in this journey. I've been there. I I know hundreds of people that have been there. Millions of people have done it. Millions of people have healed. Other people are still bitter. You can come out on a positive note at the end of this divorce recovery journey. Sharing our experiences and supporting each other. If you want to join our school community group, I'll leave a link in the show notes down at the bottom. I would love to hear from you, but sharing our experiences and supporting each other is huge. I will probably be on that every day, making comments. I'll reply to you, go from there. But you have any questions, go to the school community group. Never too late to heal. If you're starting your divorce, never too early either. If you're starting your divorce, start working on your healing. If you're in the middle, start working on your healing. If you're done with your divorce yesterday, start working on your healing. If you're divorced 2 years ago and you're still in the bad place, start working on your healing. It's never too late or too early to get started. But I appreciate you taking time listening to me. I hope I didn't rattle too much, but these red flags are getting a little bit easier. This is number 2, and number 3 is coming out soon. And you guys have a great day. Peace.